The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour, where we come together at the appointed time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So what do we have going on today? As we said in the 2 p.m. update, midterms, volume is poor. We're just a little under 7 billion shares. So nothing close to the kind of volume we had on Friday at about almost 14 billion shares. Delta neutral is tomorrow for options market makers, so I'm going to know a great deal more at the close tomorrow than I know today as far as what the option market makers, who are generally the best traders on the street, have. On Thursday, we have the CPI numbers at 8:30. Remember all the movies in Africa had the jungle drums? Well, the jungle drums right now are all beating a message out of maybe a little bit hotter number for the CPI. That kind of came out here, and I think the market's starting to roll on that. At least that rumor's been pushed around. As we said, the bond market is closed on Friday, so we may have a lot of shenanigans with that happening. Little hootenanny, as the bond market's 10 times bigger than the equity market, so that's always problematic. Really, in the energy patch today, I see most of the commentary started talking about the day after tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow, or maybe the tomorrow. But since almost everybody believes the SPR was drained for the political reasons, they think by Wednesday there's actually no reason to actually have it turned back on. Eventually, you're just going to run out. So whether it's 30 days from now or whether it's 2 days from now, they're really starting to look and see, with many reports of less than or around 20 to 25 days of diesel left in the entire country. Part of the issue, at least from people I've talked to in the source over the last couple of days, has been that they know that all of this stuff is going to maybe at least go at 50%, if not 100%, after the SPR is turned off. And if they're just patient, they're going to make a lot more money. So will prices rise? Probably. Will supply come on? Yes. But the idea is going to be, for a lot of these folks, that now they know that they're within spitting distance. And I don't know, 10 feet, I think that's my record. Anyway, spitting distance of knowing when that is turned off. And probably going to see probably the most wicked 2 or 3 days, I would imagine, of realignment of what energy costs actually are after the election. So, we were up 40, 45 points on the S&P cash earlier. We're now, I didn't look at it, maybe 9 or something. Here, let me go back and look at it. Come on, there it was. We're almost flat on that, and NASDAQ's turned south now. Didn't understand why the market was going higher. I thought, we were probably, plus or minus 0.25% from Friday's close is where we'd be for the election today. We're a little higher than that, but maybe we just ran all the short positions out on light volume, and that is it. So the question is, or at least from what I can tell, pushing the rumor that the CPI is going to be hot and that the SPR is getting ready to be turned off. And, of course, all of this stuff after the elections, who knows. But if you just look at it technically, I did not like yesterday's volume. I like today's volume even less. And of course, the very big lack of any short sellers into yesterday. My guess is we're probably going to get the same thing today. Always leaves a giant gap lower to go after. 877-927-6648. No, I don't think it matters who wins the election. But they're starting to hoard it, is from what I've found out, and that is that they know as soon as the SPR is over, we're going to probably see maybe $1 or $2 higher in gasoline, everything else. So to the extent that they've got places to store it, they know if they wait 15 days or 30, they can make 50 or 100% on their money. Market preferred's a red one. Market prefers that they can't do anything at all. All they would love is to be able to build on a foundation of rock and not shifting sand. And of course, if you have gridlock, makes a good foundation when they can't do much of anything. Again, 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, you can always leave a message in the den if you want to look at something. With about 2 minutes left, let's do a little bit of history, and then we'll come back. We'll start looking at earnings from last night and this morning and see if there's anything else we can see. As I said, I'm not a big fan of getting out front of Delta Neutral. And now we've got Delta Neutral and the elections, and then we got Delta Neutral, elections, Delta Neutral, and then CPI. So I have a feeling probably from about 8:30 Thursday, and then into a bond market that's closed on Friday, we could have some huge swings, especially with the volume we saw on Friday in the market.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 2000, after only 2 years in business, Pets.com shuts down its operation, cited as one of the biggest failures of the dot-com bubble, mostly because they had no business model. Pets.com was able to gain significant brand recognition through its extensive marketing campaign and sock puppet mascot, but lost money due to an unsustainable business plan. I would say they didn't have one. Ironically, the company's best-selling product was the sock puppet itself. And yes, no, I don't own one, but the place that I found this little doodad quote liner, the guy did. But no, I don't own one. And that's kind of it. So let's go back and quickly, before we go to break here, take a look at the volumes. We'll get caught up on that. 7.16 billion shares, but that's again compared to the almost 1.4 billion we had, 14 billion we had on Friday. So right now, with about 2 hours left, we're only about half of the way to Friday's volume, a little over halfway to Friday's volume. So it's going to be a light day. So I think we're going to have a lot of people probably off sides by the time we get to Thursday. We'll be back in a minute.
Currencies, commodities, and bond markets are as important as ever right now with how they're driving the volatility in equity markets across the globe, which is why it's a great time to try out Teddy Kegstat's Tiger Forex Report. Teddy Kegstat breaks down the Forex markets every Monday using his 30-plus years of experience as a trading veteran of futures, Forex, stocks, and options. Teddy releases his weekly Tiger Forex Report every Monday morning with coverage of all the major currency pairs, including the dollar index, the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, dollar yen, as well as many more, and he also has weekly coverage of the crude oil market and the 30-year T-bonds, as they both influence Forex markets tremendously. When you sign up for the Tiger Forex Report, you also gain instant access to Teddy's 60-minute webinar archive he just hosted, Forex Strategies and Fundamentals, What is Behind the Tiger Forex Report. For all the details and to start your 30-day Tiger Forex Report subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month. And try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors. Are you looking for a way to consistently add winning trades to your portfolio? Tom O'Brien is here to help. Tom O'Brien has been successfully trading markets for over 30 years. A frequent contributor to TD Ameritrade Network and CNBC, Tom O'Brien founded TFNN over 20 years ago to help educate investors just like you. Tom's daily market newsletter, Market Insights, is published every morning when the markets open to give you the competitive informational edge you need to succeed. These newsletters are packed full of Tom's advanced technical analysis and are geared to deliver comprehensive strategies for a successful portfolio. Get Tom O'Brien's newsletter, Market Insights, today and try all of our products and newsletters 30 days risk-free with our money-back guarantee at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
As we come back, there's been a big move in the dollar. It seems to have caught the attention of the market finally. 109 and 63 cents on the DX, but quite a move. About a buck, right? Down to 109.30-ish, just a hair underneath that. So we've got the bounce off that. It is going to be kind of interesting. So we got a lot of moving pieces, especially with all the other stuff going on. My guess is we will have some very wide-ranging markets come on Thursday and Friday. I think that's about it. Let's go ahead and get to some of the other stuff going on already over most of TFNN. Okay, we're up on 8 points on the S&P cash. First one I wanted to look at was NVIDIA. I thought maybe this was part of it. We've been talking the last couple of days about filling about halfway through the gap, and you kind of got that today with NVIDIA, maybe even a little bit more. And not surprisingly, because NVIDIA was the most heavily shorted stock yesterday. So you just have to figure that maybe a lot of today was the irrational exuberance of yesterday's heavy shorting on some stocks. But NVIDIA, I think, was in the low 40s. So almost out of every 2 shares sold, there was 1 share shorted, at least during the day. So you got to think that any pop today would see a lot of those folks start and turn and run on it. Let's go to the earnings. Ready, in progress. Altisource Portfolio Solutions, ASPS. Nice little move higher, a little less volume today. Don't know much about that one. ATVI, which is Activision Blizzard, was lower before the market opened up a little bit better after the conference call, but not a lot, just kind of about halfway there. But I think more of anything, it had to do with Take Two, which gets the loser horn of the day, which is down rather significantly. Let me find here. Let's see. What is that down? Take Two, 15%, with almost a gravestone. Got a little bit more to the bottom side, but almost a gravestone doji at the lows. Massive volume, so you may have a at least short-term selling climax in Take Two. You blew through, and this is what they call breaking through ice. That's kind of thinking about walking across a river that's covered in ice and you kind of fall through. But certainly did that. The last major low was March 20th of 2020 at $100. And you wanted something in the neighborhood of light volume of that 100 area, maybe 5 million shares. We've blown through that with 14.4 million shares. So pretty heavy on that side. Okay. What else do we have? TripAdvisor, another was dropped the Chalupa here. It's gotten a little bit better. You got a lot of volume. My guess, though, is you got down to $18, and the previous low is $16.87. You're going to have plenty of volume. Now, maybe you get a little bit more juice out of it, but this thing really looks like it's coming back to that $16.87, which is the July 15th low of this year, 2.3 million shares. But you got 10 million shares, so you're probably going to find lower soon enough. You may just have a temporary selling climax at the moment. TDC, which is the Teradata, big computer hardware company that sells kind of retail or even, how would you say it, to businesses, retail, but not really to individuals. Nice spike up to 32.60 today, but it's pretty much given it all back up. This may be a good idea, seeing how business is spending on the rest of the PC part of the market and higher workstations, that kind of stuff. But wide-ranging bar, but didn't really give you a whole lot here. The one that they keep talking up every 2 minutes on Financial Infotainment TV, otherwise known as CNBC, if you live in Lutz, and that is Solar Edge. SEDG is the symbol on this. Nice gap higher into a gap that happened back on the 5th of October. That was down on 1.4 million shares. You're up on 2.5, holding well. Sanmina, another one that is a rocket higher with a nice gap higher. Man, that if that doesn't look like a possible blow off top, you don't have a lot of volume so far, but I would watch that. My guess is this does come back down to $58. Again, on the loser horn side of the market is Lordstown Motors was up fairly significantly. Of course, yeah, this is a penny stock, but certainly gave it all up throughout the day. But yeah, I don't see much else. QGEN, Cryogen, little gap higher, not much in the way of volume. To PLNT, Planet Fitness, nice little gap higher here. You didn't get back up into the previous high, but this time of year, these companies tend to do well. Kind of flattish, not a whole lot of action today in the Mosaic company. Of course, this is a lot of fertilizer and kind of that kind of stuff, phosphates. But not a down day, which is probably the most important thing for them. Medtronic, gap lower, going after the previous low with 6.3 million shares. That was at 79.45. 79.44. You haven't quite got there, but you've got at least 50% more volume at the moment, and you're probably going to get more like 75% of the previous low. So you got to think that it's going to go at least test 79.44. My guess is it may not be able to hold if the market does not do well. Lift, a lot of people talking about today in the den about buyouts or buy-unders or anything else to throw a little life raft to these guys. Going through the previous low of 40 million shares at $10.83, you got to 1082. You're below that low, and you already have 56 million shares. We'll be back in a minute.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we had somebody bring up Goldfields, and yeah, nice day, and you got some decent volume. All I could think of every time I think of gold is Goldfinger. And, of course, what do? You have to kill James Bond in a super elaborate way and leave so that if he escapes, there'll be nobody there to do anything. Seems like a plot hole to me, but I digress. Certainly, you've got a big gap here. Again, like I said, so many of these stocks that had big gaps, they're coming up and filling about half of them, or maybe a little more if they're heavily short, and then kind of turning south on us. That would make this about maybe $11.20 to fill half of that gap. So that's kind of interesting. Hecla comes out, I think, tonight or tomorrow. See if there's anything else here. It just says they're winners. Didn't really say why. They say EQX. Let's see about that one. Nice bounce in that one too, but I don't think we jump out. CDZI. CDZI also up 11%. But doesn't stand out. Okay. Okay. What else did I want to talk about here? I think there was one of them here. We looked at GFI. Someone brought up SMG, which is always my go-to if you wanted to be in the marijuana business. Does look like that's starting to come up a bit. Going to probably be a little lighter on a gap. There's a double gap right there at about $60. Let's go back and look at that. I got a gap up and a gap down. So what's the lower part of that to close at 56, 58? And that day is the low is 58. So yeah, probably $57 on that. You're almost there. So what's right at 55? Again, probably a good shot that hits 57. Anyway, back to our earnings list. We had Lyft down with 56 million shares into a 40 million share low already. That looks fairly good in that it will probably go break $10 over the next couple of days and go below that. MDT, Medtronic, did we talk? We talked about that already, didn't we? I think so. We need to go up, don't we? Okay, LNTH. Lantheus. Don't see much in that one. IFF, International Flavors and Fragrances. Of course, flavors and fragrances are all international, right? They don't know borders. Just kind of a big day out here sideways. Not a lot of volume on that one. HUDI. Now, this one was interesting. Hawaii. Is that how you say it? That certainly was, if this is real. I haven't had a chance to check this out, but that does kind of look like the biggest move and reversal in a couple of days. Maybe somebody in the den knows what happened with that one. Hawaii? Sounds like probably that's the way it's pronounced, isn't it? Hawaii International. Okay. Other FIVN, which is 5.9, the retailer, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go ahead and check on that because I'm pretty sure this is the mall retailer, right? Oh, no, it is not. Glad I checked. Provides cloud software for contract centers in the United States and internationally. The company offers a virtual contact center cloud performance platform that delivers a suite of applications. Man, I hate if you can't say what you do in one sentence, it's always probably problematic. But lots of stuff there. A little move higher. Yeah, what's maybe someone knows what's China Pump? Okay, thanks. Okay. Anyway, at least drop off the lows. The big problem with a lot of these is they still have high volume lows, and this one does. It broke through the previous low, did so with a lot of volume. You got the only good saving grace is you're back into the trading range today on 5.9 with some decent volume. DuPont, nice little pop in this one. It did gap above the previous gap up 68.45. The problem is it's given a great deal of that back. It's back to 65.69. and the volume is not all that exciting, about 5.5 million shares. You had a lot more on the downside just 4 days ago with 8.9 million shares on the downside. So, yeah, I think there's just a lot of people getting squeezed on earnings, and then the next turn is going to be it. Cabot opened up and turned and ran. Bravely ran away to not probably fight another day. It's back into the candle of the 3rd of November. This is not a hugely high volume stock. And even today, it's down on fairly light volume, but it's going to probably go back. Certainly looks to me like this is range bound. Support could be at about $65 on this, but that is one ugly looking candle. ATVI, which is Activision Blizzard. This has had a huge gap higher. It's coming back and slowly filling that. You do have a double gap. So the question is, if this holds, could this be a fairly decent long-term ABC on the way up? And it certainly could be. I do like the game sector. I think after we get through the next couple of days, maybe we've got something. Let's see what that would be for a expansion. That would take you to 101.26 if it's an ABC on the way up. Looks interesting. I think that takes us through most of the stuff I wanted to talk about right away. Time to email me. ARQQ. Let's turn that off so we can see it a little bit closer. Had a big day in this one. Of course, this is a quantum encryption thing, and they got a government contract. The problem is the government contract isn't that big. It just means they're not going to go out of business, and everybody and their dog was short this thing. Like a lot of these that are getting squeezed, I want to see some kind of pullback. But yeah, yesterday and today, you don't want to be highly short a highly shorted stock. So I think there's some to it. This sector is certainly going to heat up. I want to get through the next couple of days. I think we're good for the rest of the year if we can get through the next couple of days. We'll be back in a minute.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
And we're back. And yeah, there's a lot of things that need to get sorted out. Someone brought up the railroad possible strike again in the Den. I heard that was, at least last time I looked, that was going to be at the end of November, that they'd signed something. But I kind of just vaguely remember hearing that. But yeah, we still have that on our plate. But I think that takes them to the 1st of December. Last I heard was that, but you know, I guess you can strike it any time you want. Okay, let's go ahead and get back to this. Anyway, a question from Ron about Carvana. Can the company make it? The bond holders are betting that it's going bankrupt, and soon. So generally those guys tend to be very good with the sharp pencils and know the underlying financial issues that aren't aired to us, the unwashed masses. But these guys are betting it's worth about $1.50. So yeah, whatever's left when this is all done. But yeah, generally when the bond guys turn against you, it's everything. But can't remember what the guy was or what his name was that was on Monday Night Football. But he'd always sing "Good Night, Irene" when the game didn't have a chance of being the score being overturned, and everybody was tuning out. I'm trying to remember what his name was. Dandy Don? Was that Dandy Don? Something. Anyway, 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. Question about XOM. Okay. XOM, nobody. I don't think, unless all the policies against energy production in the United States are reversed, I don't know how you bet against energy. Maybe you get some pullbacks, but I think you just have to close your eyes and wait and know that you've got the Titanic headed at an iceberg and the captain's yelling double up the speed and expect a different result than the first Titanic. I think you just have to close your eyes. Maybe that's it. You can't really do anything if you control the EPA and you control the Bureau of Land Management, and you can tell everybody that they're not going to get a permit, or they can get a license but they can't get a permit, or they can get a permit but they can't get a license. You can't do anything. And that's why nobody's willing really to lend much in the way of money to anybody, even if they do want to go do it. And that is that we have a deliberate policy to make sure, as he said Sunday night, there will be no more drilling. And we're going to put the coal companies out of business. And you got, right and wrong between the hours of 9:30 and 4 o'clock. You want to take to your priest, higher and lower. You want to take to the bank. And it's hard for me to say that anything other than sitting and closing your eyes and seeing, and only changing your outlook if the events change or if the news changes on oil. But it's hard for me. They got to shut the valve off on the SPR. They want gas at $8 a gallon. They've already said that. They think that's where they can force people into buying $120,000 EVs. And like I said, debate the right and wrong of it with your priest. Anybody I think that's sane knows that can't be a sustainable policy. There isn't enough lithium. At best, if everybody started building electric cars and there was a non-interruptible supply of lithium and batteries, you could maybe get 3.5 million EVs out of the 18 million cars we get a year. Or build a year. So, yeah, pretty tough. 877-927-6648. Cracking if I sell. Okay. Got a few more emails here. Let me take a quick look. See if there's anything I want to answer here. Take a look at Disney for Andy. DIS. Been a bad kind of week. They showed a screener Sunday night for Indiana Jones, the new movie, which has been on the shelf. They've been trying to recut it and make it so it's not a complete disaster. But this looks like yet another movie that Disney's going to throw in the scrap bin, in the ash heap of history, because it is so bad. I forget the other movie that was bad. I think it was another company, but they threw $300 million into the trash can. Walt Disney, at least what they're telling insiders in Hollywood, is that this is going to be a write-off. And so, again, I think they really, during the lockdown, started making anything that they had a script for, and directors and everything else. And a lot of these movies are just going to be huge disaster movies. And when you think that you can make more money with the write-off and the loss than you can actually finishing a film, I think it tells you a great deal. Also, if you're looking for a great movie to see, there are some. A great deal of them are coming from other countries, probably because of the aforementioned list of ones that I had. But I used the comment, All Quiet on the Western Front. I think I read that book when I was 12 or 13. If you're unfamiliar with it, it was a book written about 1925, 1928, from somebody on the German side of the First World War. And it's probably one of the great anti-war books of all time. And the movie was, whatever it came out in the 1950s, was, I remember, almost forgettable. But this one's actually made by the Germans. I don't know if anybody loves war films, but it may be the best anti-war film. And well done. It didn't have a tremendous budget, so there are a few things that are kind of missing in it. But, watch it. Watch it first with the German subtitles and watch it with the English ones. But there are not a lot of great movies out. All Quiet on the Western Front, good on Netflix. We'll be back in a movie.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And as we get ready to close up shop for the day and turn it over to Tom O'Brien for the next hour and the end of the trading day, Hector says NFE back to its high volume November 2nd today, down 5%. Good place to nibble. I think, I'm a big fan of these gaps. You went through this gap up. And the volume's a little higher. So normally I turn to the next gap lower, which is at 50, I'm going to call it 53 and a quarter, which is the next one out there. I'm not exactly sure why these guys would be significantly down today. I'd have to do a little bit more in it. Energy's about the same on the way up as on the way down. There may be better and stronger horses out there, although I know a lot of these things are just hanging out at the highs. But like I said earlier in the show, I think there's a bunch of stuff going on. As we kind of wrap up the day, S&P's up about 0.25%. NASDAQ's flat. Dow's continuing to show what we talked about yesterday, which is everybody running for the hills in the fund manager business, thinking that they will lose the least amount of money going into the Dow 30 stocks. Russell's off about 0.8%. Crude's off about 3%, and of course, gold is the winner for today, up 2%. I'm sure Tom will talk a great deal about that. So that kind of takes us in, but we've got just a ton of stuff going on. Where is that at? Do I have it? CPI 830, Delta neutral tomorrow, poor volume today, bond market closed on Friday. Like I said, I think, the SPR, does it get turned off tomorrow or a week from tomorrow? There's a lot of big events happening, so get your sleep. You're going to need it. Hang them for Tom O'Brien, and sell when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you tomorrow. Bright and shine.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most